The Eagles are headed to the playoffs. Congratulations to the entire Eagles organization. It's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. We're proud to be the official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles. Come join us for all the Eagles playoff action and the best in-game experience anywhere. Ice cold draft beer, all of your Chicky and Pete's favorites, and of course, world famous crab fries. Perfect for Eagles playoffs. Go where the players go. The official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Wrap up your workday with the all-new Chickies and Pete's Happy Hour with unbeatable specials weekdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Enjoy half-price orders of Chickies Meaty and Tender Wings, one of our tasty and delicious pizzas, or an order of mouth-watering hot, cold, or fried shrimp. Plus $3 domestic bottled beers, $5 Tito's, and $6 seltzers. It's the all-new Happy Hour, weekdays 4 to 6 p.m., only at Chickies and Pete's.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They've got him, it's a sack!
Sixers.
Oh, baby!
And Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig.
It's good!
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
And he scored!
Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Josh Hennig.
Back on a Thursday night here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. Also, of course, on my YouTube channel at Josh Hennig, as we are live here in the Ocean Casino Resort Studios. Coming up in less than 20 minutes from now, Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press will join me to get deeper into the conversation about Eagles versus Rams, the NFL playoffs, and the NFL coaching carousel. And as always, you guys can join the conversation at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. I gotta be honest with you guys, though. I had a lot of plans for topics in the show today, and then the Dallas Cowboys happened. So here's the story. I'm sitting here doing my regular work day, right? I'm getting prepared. You know, Ryan and Pete, we're going to host the afternoon for Chickies and Pete's and EHT. And then the news drops that Kellen Moore has been requested for a job interview by the Dallas Cowboys just days before the next Eagles game. And now there's a report that apparently Kellen Moore will do a virtual interview tomorrow. I mean, I almost feel like the Cowboys are trying to ruin the Eagles season right now. Because there's two big reactions I have to this. Number one, I don't think the Cowboys know what they're doing. I genuinely think the Dallas Cowboys are just running around like a bunch of chicken with their heads cut off. And because they have no idea what they're doing, they want to ruin everyone else's life. You know, misery loves company. So I think that they literally decided to reach out to the Eagles today because they were like, well, maybe we could make the Eagles lose, get Kellen Moore in our building faster. The Cowboys, as I wrote about in 973ESPN.com earlier today, and the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle, the Cowboys are not the only team talking to Kellen Moore. In fact, there were other teams trying to get in on the Kellen Moore sweepstakes, that being the New Orleans Saints and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, the way the NFL rules work is you cannot have in-person meetings with any candidates anymore until that candidate season is over. So, for example, if the Eagles were to lose on Sunday, then Kellen Moore will be available for an interview in the days after they have their exit meetings. But if Philadelphia keeps winning, there is no ability for the Dallas Cowboys or the New Orleans Saints or the Jacksonville Jags to hire him and do any beyond virtual interviews. So I got to be honest with you guys. I hope that this decision by the Cowboys does not interfere with Philadelphia winning, because you could argue that the Arizona Cardinals interfered with Jonathan Gannon before the biggest game of the year, the Super Bowl. Why am I getting deja vu vibes? Frankly, if I'm the NFL, I need to step in and tell the Cowboys to back off. If I'm Jeffrey Lurie, the Eagles owner, I'm calling Roger Goodell and I'm calling horse manure. I'm calling BS on this. And the fact that I feel like everyone's just kind of indifferent about it, frankly, it bothers me. Because all week we have talked about the Cowboys and Deion Sanders. Cowboys and Deion. Deion this, Deion that, right? And then all of a sudden, Thursday at 12:30 or whatever it was, it's, oh, by the way, the Cowboys now want to talk to Kellen Moore, and they're also going to interview Robert Saleh tomorrow or Saturday, and then Leslie Frazier on Monday. And I'm just looking around like the scene from Pulp Fiction where Travolta looks around and it's like, where is everybody? I have the same feeling about this situation because right now the Eagles 100% focus should be on the Rams this Sunday when Merrill Reese and Mike Quick call all the action here at your home for Eagles football in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN. But instead, we are talking about Kellen Moore. And Kellen Moore, if he has a bad day at the office, we're going to have a lot of problems. And frankly, I don't even know why Kellen Moore is being interviewed, to be blunt. I mean, this guy has done nothing exceptional this year. You know, the Eagles last year had the 7th best scoring offense in the NFL. Well, they also have the 7th best scoring offense in the NFL this year. They are only averaging 2 more points per game from last year to this year. Philadelphia Eagles had 24 touchdown passes last year, the same amount this year. It's hard to look at Kellen Moore and be like, yeah, he's the reason why I've had success. Philadelphia Eagles have only 218 more total yards than last season. When you break it down, that's roughly what? 24 extra yards a game? And people want to interview that guy? Like he's the answer for anything? To be blunt, I don't even know if he's the answer for the Eagles. May I remind you what Dan Orlovsky said about Kellen Moore earlier this week on ESPN's Get Up.
Kellen Moore, who's a friend of mine, and I think a really good coach. The pass game concepts got to grow. They got to get better. They got to infuse more because my takeaway is Green Bay, pass game-wise, knew exactly who was going to be, where, and when they were going to be there, and that's how everybody got covered up.
Well, thank the Lord that when the Eagles beat the Rams earlier this year, it was with their run game, as Jason McCourty pointed out this morning on Get Up.
This is the same defensive line that Saquon Barkley had 4 untouched runs for 164 yards. So when I look at this, and yes, I agree with you guys in the sense of if Jalen Hurts has to throw the ball 25 plus times because they're not able to run the ball, then they do win the game. But at the same time, they have to be able to stop Saquon Barkley. We're talking about all of their pass rush numbers, the sacks, how dominant they were against the Vikings who weren't trying to run the ball, who was dropping back, putting Darnold in position to go win the game. The Eagles aren't going to do that.
There's a clear path to victory in this game. And that clear path is not Kellen Moore. But I'm telling you right now, if the Eagles lose the game for any reason on Sunday, and it does not involve Jake Elliott directly, we are all going to be pointing to this Kellen Moore news that happened today. The NFL, they really need to put a moratorium on not letting NFL teams hire coaches until after the Super Bowl. Don't interview them. Don't talk to them. Don't even acknowledge their existence. The fact that they were trying to get Joe Brady to interview when the Bills are preparing for the Baltimore Ravens, it's not just the Eagles issue. It's an everybody issue. And we can say all we want. He's a professional. It's not a distraction, blah, blah, blah. If you're Kellen Moore, it's in the back of your mind, I might have jobs to interview for. it might impact his thinking. He might become an overthinker. He might press a little bit. He might try to do extra fancy plays when he shouldn't because he's trying to show off for potential employers. I don't know how you guys feel at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank Seattle. But I'm not a fan of the situation at all. And frankly, if I'm anybody, I don't want the Dallas job. I have zero interest in the Dallas job. Because when I heard this explanation from Adam Schefter about the whole Deion Sanders thing, I kind of looked around and I said, come on, man.
Everybody focused in on Deion Sanders and the conversations that he's had so far with Jerry Jones. Now, my understanding is no interview set up. Conversations will continue. Deion said to me he's intrigued with the job, and clearly Jerry Jones is intrigued with him. Those two men know each other so well that they don't have to have a lot of conversation. But in the interim, Dallas is looking at other coaching candidates.
Yeah, they're so intrigued with each other that they're still looking around at other candidates. Well, which is it? Do you want Deion? Does Deion want the job? Or are you still swiping right on Tinder trying to find somebody else? If I am a candidate for the Cowboys job, frankly, my first question to Jerry Jones is, if you want me, why are you talking to Deion? Because you talked to him on Monday. It's Thursday. What's going on here, folks? Frankly, I think it's the Cowboys trying to interfere in the Eagles' season. So Kellen Moore, frankly, if I'm Kellen Moore, I would cancel the interview with them. I'd be like, look, thanks for the offer. I had an amazing time with you in Dallas, playing 4 years as the backup quarterback and then later becoming 4 years of offense coordinator. I appreciate everything the Cowboys have done for me in my career, but I got a job to do with the Philadelphia Eagles. Right here, right now. That's got to be the focus. I don't know. Maybe I'm alone on this. Maybe I'm the only person who feels this way. Maybe I'm the only person who looks at this and says, man, am I the only one who feels like this could be a bad situation? Maybe I am. You guys let me know. 609-403-0973. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on a Thursday night. Coming up on the other side, we will talk with Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press. But first, I want to let you guys know that tonight's edition of Game Night being brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook. It's the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. That means win or lose, every bet you place brings you closer to the type of perks only Caesars can offer. Like hotel stays at over 50 destinations, bonus bets in the app, dining experiences, game tickets, and much more. So download the Caesars Sportsbook app and then sign up using promo code RADIO, DYW. That's Radio DYW, and place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bets. Not just your next bet, your next 10 bets. Caesars Sportsbook, don't just spectate, participate. Open to new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Max bet of $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings, $2,500 per bet. Profit boost tokens expire in 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Of course, don't forget, we will be doing lots of picks, one a little bit later in the show, as well as the full slate of football Friday picks tomorrow here on 97.3 ESPN. But coming up next, Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press. We'll ask him about the Eagles and Rams, Kellen Moore, and, of course, the full slate of NFL Divisional Round Weekend here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on a Thursday night.
This is the home of Philadelphia Eagles playoff football. It's the NFC divisional round of the playoffs as the Eagles host the LA Rams this Sunday at the Link.
Nice catch by Goddard, who breaks the tackle across the 5. Touchdown!
Goddard, beast, pushes him in the face twice and into the end zone.
Eagles radio network coverage begins at 2 p.m. Merrill Reese and Mike Quick call all the action starting at 3 p.m. This is South Jersey's official home for Eagles playoff football. 97.3 ESPN.
Save thousands at Matt Blatt Kia. Get out of your old trade today, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Go to mattblattkianj.com for more details. That's mattblattkianj.com.
It's gotta be a
Matt Blatt Kia.
Shop can't miss deals going on now during Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. For a limited time, get a free adjustable stand when you buy a DeWalt 12-inch miter saw. That's a $229 value. Plus, save $680 on a Maaddi 4-piece kitchen appliance suite. Now just $17.96. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Valid 113 through 124. Cannot be combined with additional discounts while supplies last. See store or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
Hey, AI, how many touchdowns did the Eagles score in the 2023 season?
The Eagles scored 49 touchdowns in the 2023 season.
Hey, AI, I had a fall recently. I need to recover. Please help me walk again.
I'm sorry, but that is beyond my capabilities.
Hey, AI, my parents are getting older and I can't care for them by myself. Can you help me care for them?
I'm sorry, that is beyond my capabilities. AI will never replace care, but here's what I found for the best care near you.
Autumn Lake Healthcare Centers, trusted leaders in skilled nursing rehabilitation and senior care, and proud partners of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a colonial with high ceilings, hardwood floors, and a peaceful neighborhood. And you found it. Now, every Saturday at 6 a.m., you get to wake to the sound of your neighbor's leaf blower. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
Something good to know from First Bank of Sea Isle City. We have all of today's innovative banking products just like the big banks, but we offer something they can't. A personal community focus. Let's get you started with Bill Pay. You save time when you pay your bills online. It's fast, easy, and convenient. First Bank of Sea Isle City. A community bank that delivers more for you every day. Personal service, today's technology, from the people who truly care. Learn more at firstbankseaisle.com.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN. NHL, the Flyers back on the ice tonight on the road to face the New York Islanders. The Islanders are last in the Metropolitan Division, but they've won 3 of 4, while Philadelphia had a brief 2-game win streak snapped Tuesday in a shootout loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets. NBA, the Sixers out in Indiana Saturday to take on the Pacers. Wednesday night, they dropped their 4th in a row. They fell to the Knicks 125-119. Tyrese Maxey led the Sixers with 33 points, and Paul George had 26. But the Knicks, they got 38 points from Jalen Brunson. The Eagles facing the LA Rams Sunday in the NFC Divisional round. Philadelphia will be without linebacker Nakobe Dean, lost for the rest of the postseason with the knee injury. They'll face a Rams team that's won 6 of their last 7, beating the Vikings Monday night in the wild card round. The Eagles did beat the Rams out in Los Angeles in Week 12, 37-20. Progressive Insurance, bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. I'm Tony Desiri, and that's your Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-889-5566, 800-889-5566, 800-889-5566.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. We've made it to the end of our latest cold snap. Temperatures moderate tomorrow and Saturday before tumbling even more Sunday into next week. Still some light snow showers in the neighborhood through this evening, then clearing skies overnight. Low temperature drops to 27. Tomorrow, not as cold as it has been. Sunny skies, high of 42. 46 on Saturday, cloudy with rain showers. Turning colder again Sunday, high 38. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. That means win or lose, every bet you place brings you closer to the type of perks only Caesars can offer. So download the app using promo code RADIODYW and place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bets. Open to new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Max bet $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings $25,000 per bet. Drop boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. For terms, Caesars.com/promos. If you or someone has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
I'm glad to see on the text board at 609-403-0973 that both Josh and Kate May and Jeff in Ocean City agree with me. So we'll see if Rob Maaddi agrees with me here on 97.3 ESPN. Of course, Rob is back, AP senior NFL writer. Of course, he is the man who has to deal with all of the voters for all of the awards because that is a thankless job, to say the least. Rob, welcome back. How you doing today, my friend?
Well, what's going on, Josh? Happy Thursday. What do we got? 72 hours till kickoff? Something like that. Maybe less, 69.
Right, exactly. But with that being said, I opened the show about it, Rob, and I'll bring it up to you, and people seem to agree with me. It kind of feels like the Cowboys are trying to interfere in the Eagles' season. Why did you wait until Thursday to put in a request talk with Kellen Moore? Now there's speculation he might do a virtual interview tomorrow or Saturday, Rob. I mean, what gives?
Well, they just fired, right, or parted ways with Mike McCarthy on Monday. So, yeah, so they're still trying to figure out who's going to be their head coach. And wait, he can't do a virtual interview now because he's got to wait until the season.
He's got a game.
Over.
Yeah. The role is in person. He can't do an in-person interview.
Can't do in person, but he can do the virtual. I don't know about. If I'm Kellen Moore, like you can't be doing any interviews the day before a game. It's just unless he's already prepared. They are limited though, Josh. They are limited now to 3 hours. Whereas before this 3 hour rule, they can keep a guy on a Zoom for 6, 7, 8 hours doing it. And they have. Some teams have done that. So it is a 3 hour limitation. But the part of that is there's so much prep that has to go into it. It certainly does knock a guy off. And I know that Kellen Moore has had opportunities in the past, so he kind of knows what it's going to look like. I really think he's going to end up, if they don't go the Deion Sanders route, if Jerry Jones decides he doesn't want to have a coach who's going to upstage him every day and be more famous than he is, I think Kellen Moore is an ideal fit for them based on what Jerry Jones likes to have in there. Somebody outside of the year he had, the few years he had Bill Parcells and obviously opening up with Jimmy Johnson. But Jimmy Johnson had come from Miami. He hadn't been a head coach before. The familiarity with Dak Prescott, being his backup, being a guy who coached him as an offensive coordinator, it makes a ton of sense if they don't go for a splash move. I still think that regardless of any distractions that Kellen Moore may have tomorrow or the next day, Eagles got this game. I'm not concerned about the Rams. I think the Rams did what they needed to do on Monday night. All of the emotion, the win one for California, all of that stuff, right? This is a whole other animal. You're coming into Philly, short rest, tough week, cold environment. Eagles already beat up on them in week 12 in LA. I would be absolutely stunned and utterly disappointed if the Eagles not only don't win, but don't cover. I think this is a game that should be comfortable for the Eagles, to where fans in the second half can be looking forward to, whether it's staying home for Washington or going on the road for Detroit, making their plans.
Now, for the sake of accuracy, I did want to bring up the exact report from ESPN's Todd Archer. He said the Cowboys are scheduled to speak with Kellen Moore on Friday per league rules. The interview will be done virtually and cannot be more than 3 hours. Now, I got to be honest with you, Rob. First of all, I don't like this at all. To me, I don't care if unless Jesus comes down from heaven and tells Kellen Moore to do this interview, I think Kellen Moore's full focus needs to be on Sunday. I think the Cowboys are trying to meddle in the Eagles' season. To me, if I'm Jeffrey Lurie, I would be like, absolutely not until Monday.
And I'm surprised that that's taken place like that, because the difference between Friday and Monday for the Eagles is immense. And for the Cowboys and their process isn't that big of a deal. And I think it shouldn't even reach Jeffrey Lurie. That should be something where Kellen Moore and his agent decide, appreciate the offer, looking forward to it, can't wait to speak with you first thing Monday morning as soon as this game is done, because all my focus has. And I don't see how that could even be held against him at all. Like, you have to appreciate that focus.
Really quick, you know who's interviewing with the Cowboys Monday is Leslie Frazier. Why can Leslie Frazier wait till Monday, but Kellen Moore can't?
Yeah, that's weird. That really is odd. And Leslie Frazier is a guy who, man, I spoke to him a few years ago because he's had a long gap since he's been a head coach, and he kind of felt like for a while there he was just a guy who would get those interviews to fulfill the Rooney Rule, and it's unfortunate. And he said it. A few other guys have said it over the years. Like, it's just an interview. They know what the league's process is, and about interviewing minority candidates to fulfill the Rooney Rule. So I think Leslie Frazier is a great head coach, a great defensive coordinator. He had success as a head coach. I think there's a lot of guys out there who have played for him who love that guy and who would rally around him. And I hope that he's a legitimate candidate for the Cowboys, and he's just not a guy getting an interview to fulfill requirements. And it's, we saw in New England, right? Robert Kraft was ready to go with Mike Vrabel. So was it David Shaw, and who else did he bring in?
Well, remember Aaron Glenn backed out of his interview with the Patriots. Remember that?
Because he knew like there are guys who. And there are some guys who back out of those interviews for that reason. They say, hey, I know I'm not getting this. Somebody else is targeted for it. And obviously that's kind of like where the whole lawsuit, right, with the Giants, Brian Flores, Brian Dable, Bill Belichick sending the wrong person the text, Flores thinking that he's got a shot, but really he was coming in kind of to fulfill those requirements. So, but you raise a valid question. Why can't Leslie Frazier, who is not in the playoffs right now, have that interview on Friday, and Kellen Moore, who's got a whole lot more on his plate, do the interview on Monday when the Eagles are either getting ready or have plenty of more time in the week to get ready?
And by the way, the other interview that's been scheduled, according to DallasCowboys.com, is Robert Saleh is going to interview this weekend. So now you have not one, but two people who are not currently on teams in the postseason who all can be interviewed, but Kellen Moore's the whole thing bothers me. To me, if I'm the NFL, this should not be allowed. Like for example, remember the whole thing with Joe Brady? Like Josh Allen was joking, like, oh yeah, Joe Brady does nothing around here. Like, Josh Allen doesn't want his coordinator interviewing before a big game on Sunday.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I'm going to present it because they've modified the rules. They've done it so where it's got to be virtual and there's a time limit, and then in-person has to wait until the season's over.
Right.
But maybe take another step to where even if you're going to do a virtual interview with a coach in the playoffs, and several of them have, right? Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, Jesse Minter before the Chargers were eliminated, Bobby Slowick with the Texans. Like there's a lot of Cliff Kingsbury, a lot of these guys. At least do it in the early part of the week. Like it's got to be by Monday or Tuesday. It can't be Friday or Saturday.
Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press joining us here on 97.3 ESPN. Now, on top of all this, Rob, there's the question that Dan Orlovsky brought up earlier this week on ESPN about the idea of, well, he blames Kellen Moore for the Eagles' lack of offense on Sunday, that Kellen Moore is the reason why Jalen Hurts had 6 straight pass completions and then 7 straight incompletions, because he claims, and I don't want to rehash the whole thing Orlovsky said, but the idea being that, that Kellen Moore needs to do a better job as the OC in the postseason. So it's like, well, if Kellen Moore didn't do a great job on Sunday, Rob, why does anybody want to interview him?
Well, it's kind of like the Sam Darnold situation too. He was terrible on Monday night, and he didn't play well in the final game of the regular season. But he's going to get paid, and he's going to get a big contract. The narrative that he cost himself hundreds of millions of dollars, and he's only going to have to get a 1-year prove-it deal, just doesn't sit with me. It doesn't fly. I think there's enough teams out there that need a quarterback, and they're going to sign Sam Darnold. I think it's the totality of your work. It's the entire season. It's what Kellen Moore has been able to do over the course of the entire regular season, and how he's positioned the Eagles to be in this point. Obviously, Saquon Barkley has helped them have the run game that they have, the offensive line, the only offensive line in the NFL that's had 5 guys with all-pro votes, has helped them get to where they are right now, and that's being a position where I think they're built for this kind of success, and they're built for this time of year and the inclement weather that we may see on Sunday. I didn't realize that Orlovsky was that critical of Kellen Moore. Was there an Orlovsky like Ryan Fitzpatrick back and forth, or I thought there was something. I heard about it, but I didn't see it.
Well, here
and I didn't know who was defending who and who was critical of who. Like I don't know. Fill me in if you know.
So, well, I don't know about the Fitzpatrick thing, because anything that involves social media, I try to stay out of, because I think half of social media is fake. But here is what Orlovsky said on ESPN's Get Up, so you can literally hear, because Dan. Dan is not a hot take guy. He's not a guy who just says things for the sake of saying stuff. So here's what he said.
I thought Jalen Hurts didn't look rusty at all. My biggest concern is, how does it look like Green Bay knew what every pass play was? How does it look like Green Bay knew exactly what the pass concept was going to be? How does it look like Green Bay knew exactly where the receivers were going to be on a consistent basis? My mind, after I watched that tape, wasn't, man, Jalen Hurts struggled. I actually thought Jalen Hurts played well. My mind went to Kellen Moore.
And he went on to say after that basically Kellen Moore needs to evolve his play calling, and that people need to stop blaming Hurts for when the play caller is not giving him the best calls to be successful.
Doesn't the quarterback also have the ability, or should have the ability, to stand at the line of scrimmage, know what the play is?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because
look at the defense and change the play. I know Tom Brady would. I know Peyton Manning would.
But see, is that fair? Is it fair to compare Jalen Hurts to 2 of the greatest to ever live?
Well, you don't have to be Tom Brady or Peyton Manning to see the stand at the line of scrimmage, look at the deep. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Like, guys change. You should, as a quarterback, to be the best, to have that kind of success. I think and obviously I think it's the toughest job in sports. To even have to know all those plays is mind-blowing. To have to stand there and be able to, it takes an incredible amount of intelligence just to digest that playbook. Then to stand at the line of scrimmage, look at the defense, read the defense, know who's coming at you from where, recognize their tendencies, and then change the call so you have the protection you need, the routes that you want that are going to be advantageous to you. Oh, and by the way, you got to remember the snap count. There's so much that goes into it, but the best of the best are able to do it. So that's why I hear that and I go, I understand what Dan's saying, and I get it. And I'm sure Kellen Moore's been criticized too for this in Dallas. I think some of the reasons why they didn't have the playoff success that they wanted, as offensive coordinator, they only got to a certain point and he maybe didn't evolve the way he needed to. But I'll put some of it back also on the QB. That said, you would hope that the coordinator can put the players in. He can put them in a better position to where your best weapon, A.J. Brown, can have more than one catch, and he's not reading books on the sideline.
I will say, because I actually had Tony Banks on my show yesterday, the former NFL quarterback. I'm sure you're familiar with Tony as well. And
The Super Bowl champion, right?
Yes, but he talked about, he said that, as a quarterback, he says your ego says no matter what play is called, I'm going to make it happen. And he said that he remembers, he's told the story with me on the radio, Rob, about how, there was that famous play where Dilfer told Brian Billick he wasn't going to listen to him, did what he wanted, and Billick was going to pull him out of the game. And Tony Banks said, no. We're winning with this guy. Why pull him out now for me? No, just work with him. Make this work. And then Ravens went on to be Super Bowl champions.
And Trent Dilfer is a Super Bowl champion. So that could have been Tony Banks. How about that?
Yeah, well, remember, Banks started that year with the Ravens, and then Dilfer came in halfway through the year, and the players rallied around Dilfer. But Billick had a horrible relationship with Dilfer because he wanted Dilfer to run the offense one way, and Dilfer saying, no, that play's not going to work. And that was the reason why Dilfer was never brought back in Baltimore. And they went out and got Elvis Gerbach because, remember, the idea was that Gerbach was going to run Billick's offense the way Billick ran in Minnesota back in 98 and 99.
And Elvis had a couple good seasons in KC.
Kansas City, yep.
Yeah, he might have had a good year with the Ravens, but not too many. Now I got to go back and look at my 2000 through 2008 Baltimore Ravens up until Harbs got there. They had that Super Bowl. They won that Super Bowl, the Ray Lewis season. Kerry Collins, but that was probably one of the least exciting Super Bowls. I remember some terrible ones. I remember Broncos and Niners blowouts and some of the Redskins.
I thought you were going to say Broncos and Falcons was a bit of a snoozer too.
Yeah, well, the only thing, the first thing I remember about that is the Eugene Robinson.
Oh yes,
that's the first thing that comes to mind. Eugene Robinson gets the Man of the Year, Walter Payton Man of the Year award when they used to give these out Saturday, not Thursday. Saturday, the night before the Super Bowl. Walter Payton Man of the Year, beloved community figure, does all this great stuff, captain, team leader, safety, and then the night before the Super Bowl also accepts the award and then goes out and gets arrested for solicitation. Just an absolute embarrassment.
Yeah, absolutely. Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press. A couple more for you before I let you go. I did want to hit on the games this weekend because there are actually games to talk about on the field. Let's start with the Eagles and Rams. I'm trying to create the Super Bowl already in my mind. Eagles, Ravens. Eagles, Rams this Sunday. Is it as simple as if the Eagles do what they did in the first matchup, they win this game? Is it really that simple to you, Rob, or do you look at this as more nuanced than that?
I would anticipate the Rams are going to have a whole lot of adjustments to make off of that game, right? You give up 37 points and a record-setting performance by Saquon Barkley, but the Eagles have the weapons. They have everything they need on that offensive line to where as dominant as the Rams were on Monday night with the 9 sacks and making Sam Darnold's life miserable. This is not the same team they're playing. They're playing a better offensive line, a more mobile quarterback, weapons everywhere. And I know Darnold has Justin Jefferson, but the Eagles have AJ and Devontae and Dallas Goedert, and of course Saquon Barkley. So the Eagles have everything at their disposal. And I believe they're going to go out there and put up a 30 spot again. I don't think it'll be a 17-point victory, but it might be tougher a little bit in the early going. But ultimately, the more talented team with the more playmakers, better weapons. And I hear some people say, oh, if it comes down to coaching, Sean McVay is going to outcoach Nick Sirianni, and the Rams are going to win the game late in the fourth quarter. Listen, I don't know what people have to see or hear more than the numbers where Nick Sirianni's winning percentage is what it is. It's better than Sean McVay's. If I can remind those detractors out there, he has a better winning percentage than Sean McVay. Sean McVay's a great coach, and he's taken a Rams team that should have been rebuilding and took them to the playoffs last year, and still with setbacks and losing Aaron Donald and guys who were all now first-round picks, but they're hitting on second-round picks and all that, and he has them here in the divisional round. Great head coach. But we don't have to be critical of Nick Sirianni to make that point, and that annoys me too. So I'd love to see like a beatdown in this game, to kind of like Doug Peterson used to put on Sean McVay, so it can be once and for all. That said, I think it'll be a little close early in the game, but the Eagles just have more talent on both sides of the ball, on defense, on offense. Obviously, they got to look out for Jared Verse, a game wrecker on LA's defense. Braden Fisk is a guy who is like, how about both of these teams with like two top-notch rookies, right? Verse, Fisk, Eagles, Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. All of them could potentially be in the running for the defensive rookie of the year, and we're going to see that on full display. So that's going to be exciting. But I think I had it 30-20 or something around there. I'll stick to it. The Eagles are going to win this game, and it's not going to be a game where fans should be sweating it out in the end.
I'll just follow up to your point and say that Sean McVay has said the coach that is most difficult for him to game plan for is Vic Fangio. So, well, Vic Fangio is all
and
on the
that's
other
the matchup.
sideline.
Yeah, and that's the matchup. It's Fangio versus McVay.
Right, it's not Sirianni versus McVay. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And the other thing is, apparently Lane Johnson is still mad he got second team All-Pro. So I got a feeling that if Jared Verse sees Lane Johnson across from him, he's going to see steam coming out of Lane's head.
And that's a good thing. I like some of the guys who are motivated by some of this stuff. Not that you need any more extra motivation, but I've heard some of these stories from different teams around the league, and people reach out to me and tell me like, this guy's aware that he got X amount of votes, or this guy's aware that he got X amount of it. It's like Kirby Joseph got 37 out of 50, and he's like, I can't believe I didn't get who did 13 who didn't vote for me.
Literally, because I listened to the Green Light Pod a lot, and Chris Long and Bo Allen were at the game this past Sunday, and they said they never seen Lane as angry and as focused as he was going into a game. And I mean, those guys are boys, like Chris and Lane are boys. And if Chris is saying Lane looks like he wants to kill people, like I'm a little worried about Jared Verse's health. I'm just putting it out there.
Was this before or after Chris Long and Bo Allen were eating cannolis from Big Dom?
During
the cannoli. Like I want to know what kind of cannolis they, were they the chocolate, the vanilla cream, what were they?
You still have the Philly reporter in you. I can see it. I can hear it.
Were they from Termini's? Like what bakery too? Like I got to know that too.
Come on, man. Don't you have Big Dom's number like in your speed dial or something over there?
Yeah, it's there. It's there.
Sounds like an AP reporter down the road,
On it. I'm on it.
Before I let you go, the other big game of the weekend, because we're running short on time, I mentioned it in 40 and Slip, Ravens and Bills. This game is so fascinating to me, but it's not just because of the quarterbacks, Rob. It's also fascinating to me because of the defenses. These are two defenses that half of the year were disappointing, right? The Ravens, the first half of the year, were a bad defense. They got much better at the end. And then you have a Bills defense that struggled at times this year, had tons of injuries, right? And now both of these teams are coming into this game arguably the healthiest either of those defenses have been all year. And I think that might be the bigger answer. To me, it's less about Allen and Lamar. It's who they're facing on the other side of the field.
Yeah, and I don't know if Josh said it or it was Lamar, but quarterbacks say it all the time. Hey, I'm not playing against the other quarterback. I'm playing against the other defense. And I will say this just to make it clear for everybody out there Whoever wins this game will have absolutely no impact on MVP voting, none whatsoever. Ballots are in, votes have been cast. It's not going to change. So if Allen wins and then or Lamar win, it's not going to solidify that one way or another. That said, I'm shocked, Josh, that the amount of disrespect Buffalo's getting to be an underdog at home with their weather, the way the Ravens have fallen short with Lamar Jackson in the playoffs as the games get bigger. They haven't been able to get over the hump and win an AFC championship. I think the Bills should be favored in this game by a good 2.5, 3 points, somewhere around there. Instead, they're 1-point underdogs, and you better believe that's going to motivate them. And they're certainly going to want to go out there at home with some weather that they're going to have, and it's going to be fascinating. I wish this game was on Saturday just so I don't have to sit around and wait for it to be the last one on Sunday. But I think they got the order right. You want to get the Chiefs-Texans out of the way first. Then you got a pretty good game on Saturday night with I got to see Washington firsthand against the Buccaneers, and I saw them in the first game of the year, and I saw them against the Eagles on a Thursday night. So I got to see them a lot, 4 or 5 times this year. I think they got a shot to keep it close, to at least keep it close. I don't think that's going to be a blowout. So we got some great games, man. I think the Bills are going to end up winning that one on Sunday night, and it'll be Bills and Chiefs and Eagles and Detroit. I got all the higher seeds winning this week.
I got to tell you, all I keep thinking of with the Bills game and Josh Allen, before I let you go, Rob, I keep thinking of that Jim Croce song where you don't step on Superman's cape. I feel like people are stepping on Superman's cape here, man. I think Josh Allen is dangerous. I really do. I think Bills win this game. And that conversation about Lamar and the Ravens is going to continue, and we're going to see which Superman is going to be better in the AFC Championship. I think it's going to be Josh Allen versus Mahomes, and which guy avoids the kryptonite.
Yeah, I got 30-27 Buffalo, and that's the shame of it, though, because whoever wins still has to then go beat most likely Mahomes, and the loser is going to have to deal with that narrative of can't win the biggest game of the year yet, right? Josh Allen, they haven't been able to get to the AFC title game since they did 4 years ago. Buffalo, 3 straight divisional losses. Ravens haven't been able to get to a Super Bowl yet with Lamar. Twice were a number 1 seed, fell short. If they fall short again, those conversations are going to continue.
He's Rob Maaddi, at Rob Maaddi on the Twitter X platform. Of course, he covers the NFL for the Associated Press, and he is also host of Faith on the Field, heard Saturday and Sunday mornings on 97.3 ESPN. Rob, do you have a tease for the audience of who will be on the show this weekend?
I do not. This has been another busy week, so we're gonna. Josh, you got a favorite from the past? A few past episodes. You got a favorite? Maybe any that spoke to you? We can go back to. Yeah, we've had some decent ones. We've had some good ones in there. We've had Sean Alexander recently.
I was going to say the Sean Alexander one was the first one that came to my mind.
Miles Killebrew. We've had a couple. Rashad White was on recently. So I think it's a good DeMario Davis week. That one resonated with some people. DeMario is very thoughtful, man. That guy, the answers he gives, real thought provoking. He takes his time. Really thinks things through. Does so much work for the community. People like him, man, are so impressive. And I'll probably see him he's in New Orleans. Probably see him in New Orleans. It's gonna be a wild week out there. Almost there.
Rob, absolutely, Rob. Enjoy the games this weekend. I know it's a busy time of year for you, so I appreciate you making the time to jump on. Take care of yourself. We'll chat next week.
You got it, brother. Take care.
Josh Hennig here live on 97.3 ESPN. I got a ton of texts to get to coming up on the other side. George in Galloway. We got JW in Ocean City. All that and more next on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey tonight on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Listen as Tim Saunders and Todd Fedork bring you all the exciting play-by-play action.
They score! Connect the other one-timer, and TK makes no mistake, the power play goal.
It's Flyers Islanders tonight. Coverage begins at 7:30. It's Flyers hockey all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia Flyers hockey. 97.3 ESPN.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. That means win or lose, every bet you place brings you closer to the type of perks only Caesars can offer. So download the app using promo code RADIODYW and place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bets. Open to new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Max bet $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings $25,000 per bet. Drop boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. For terms, Caesars.com/promos. If you or someone has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted it close to town, with a picture window overlooking a yard. And you found it. Now when you sit down to dinner, you've got front row seats too. Your neighbor's daily pickleball game. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
What's better than one win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get one line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
Flex Premium Athleisure is softness that plays hard. From the couch to the gym to the office and beyond, Flex gives you premium comfort and style that keeps up with anything without costing everything. Now, take an extra 15% off Flex at Kohl's. Whether you're chasing the ball or chasing the kids, life's a workout. Flex with it. Exclusively at Kohl's. 15% off valid through January 20th. Some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
The Eagles are headed to the playoffs. Congratulations to the entire Eagles organization. It's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. We're proud to be the official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles. Come join us for all the Eagles playoff action and the best in-game experience anywhere. Ice cold draft beer, all of your Chicky and Pete's favorites, and of course, world famous crab fries. Perfect for Eagles playoffs. Go where the players go. The official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Wrap up your workday with the all-new Chickies and Pete's Happy Hour with unbeatable specials weekdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Enjoy half-price orders of Chickies medium tender wings, one of our tasty and delicious pizzas, or an order of mouth-watering hot, cold, or fried shrimp. Plus $3 domestic bottled beers, $5 Tito's, and $6 seltzers. It's the all-new Happy Hour, weekdays 4 to 6 p.m., only at Chickies and Pete's.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
All right, before we wrap up the Power Hour known as Game Night here on 97.3 ESPN, Josh Hennig hanging out with you. Don't forget, I'll be filling in for Mike Gill in the Sports Bash for tomorrow's Happy Hour Friday. Preview the football weekend and more. We got a busy schedule tomorrow. Don't forget John McMullen, Adam Kaplan, Aaron Coscarelli, who covers the Rams for Believe Podcasts, and also Dave Weinberg joins me tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN. I'm just double checking. I got to be honest with you guys. I don't even remember what I gave out as a pick yesterday. Let me see here. I know I gave out a pick yesterday. I don't remember what it was. Okay, I got it wrong. All right. Mavs didn't win the game. Just was curious. 609-403-0973. Josh from Cape May says, bleep the Cowboys. They're trying to mess with the Philadelphia Eagles. I tend to agree with that sentiment from him. Jeff from Ocean City chimes in and says, what think it takes away from prep time for Sunday's Eagles game? NFL should freeze all firing and interviews and hires until the season is over. That would be ideal, Jeff from Ocean City. He also says that he sent me the screenshots. Apparently, NBC Sports Philadelphia has put out that dome teams coming to Philadelphia in the postseason are 1-6. So, yeah, I'm pretty strongly leaning to the Eagles to win on Sunday. I'll give out my official pick tomorrow, but I tend to feel like this game, like Rob said, I think he's kind of right. It'll probably be a little close early on and the Eagles pull away. JW from Ocean City chimes in at 609-403-0973. JW says, let's not forget how Jonathan Gannon checked out for the Super Bowl when he had the Cardinals job. Listen, I mentioned that a little bit earlier, JW. It drives me nuts that, the Eagles could have won a championship 2 years ago. But then John Gannon was not focused. He did not make any adjustments in the second half of that game. He got taken to the woodshed by Andy Reid and Matt Nagy and Pat Mahomes. If the Eagles defense would have gotten one stop in that game, they probably win it. If Isaac Seumalo doesn't false start on that QB sneak, they probably win it. Oh, man, that game is still painful. Think about it to this day. Ian chimes in. Doesn't say where he's from, but Ian chimes in and says, of course the Cowboys are meddling. It's 100% legal, and Jerry wants to put a bug in the ear of his next potential Jason Gary, yes, sir, vanilla coach. Everyone stop panicking and whining. Most teams jump at tampering with a hated rival if it was legal. Well, I am not panicking, but I'm complaining, Ian, because I don't think it should be legal. To me, things like this should not be legal. Just because something is allowed doesn't make it right. It's the idea of the letter of the law and the spirit of the law, okay? In legalese, the idea being that the law might literally say something is allowed or something is not allowed, but the spirit of the law suggests that maybe you shouldn't do something or you should do something because it's the right thing to do. Legally, okay, and I know this is a pretty aggressive example, okay? Legally, a college professor can have a relationship with one of his students, but it doesn't make it right. They're all adults. She's 19, he's 39, who cares? Well, it's still wrong. Okay, it's an abuse of power. It's a manipulation. It's all kinds of things wrong. George from Galloway says Patriots Rams Super Bowl 53 was a dishonorable mention for boring Super Bowls. That's a great one, George and Galloway. That low-scoring game where the Patriots and Rams couldn't score any points. Great game plan by Wade Phillips and Bill Belichick, but the offenses were horrible. That was the game where Julian Edelman was named Super Bowl MVP because the only guy who did anything the entire game offensively for either team. Thanks to Rob Maaddi for joining me again. I'll be on filling in for Mike Gill 2 to 6 tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN. Have a great night, everybody.
Hi, this is Billy Schwein from the Locker Room. Join us at the Chicken or the Egg in Marlton, New Jersey for our Eagles pregame show. Nick Earnshaw, Josh Hennig, and I will get you ready for the Eagles-Rams game. We will talk with former Eagles defensive back Sheldon Brown. Plus, we'll get the keys to the game with Fox 29 News sports anchor Scott Grayson, sponsored by Blitz's Market. Then my fantasy football guru Brian Hartley, sponsored by Charlie's Bar. And we'll be giving away some Eagles swag to lucky fans. It's the Locker Room with Billy Schwein, live from the Chicken or the Egg in Marlton, New Jersey, 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN.